unless you cooperate and get some time off. But even then, even if you cooperate and get time off, you're still going to prison.
Meet Nelson Rodriguez Jr. In 2021, he was indicted for his role in a multi-million-dollar healthcare fraud conspiracy out of Miami. His job was simple: recruit patients into shady clinics like Quality Professional Healthcare and Zion Medical, so operators could bill Blue Cross Blue Shield for fake treatments. Nearly $6 million in fraudulent claims were submitted, and over $2 million got paid out. For this, Nelson pled guilty and was sentenced to 21 months in federal prison, with more than $121,000 in restitution. But that number didn't stick, because Nelson cooperated. Court records prove he debriefed with agents on day one of his arrest, identified as co-defendants Roberto Barbone, Alberto Martinez, and Dr. Castillo, even pointed out others like Abel Avila, leading to at least 4 guilty pleas and another indictment. Thanks to that, his sentence was cut just to 8 months, and later his supervised release ended early. The paperwork doesn't lie. Nelson was the cooperator, he was the snitch, and yet Kyle Sandler of Federal Prison Tips and Jason Votrobek of the 10 Toes podcast have both been loud and proud about how much they can't stand snitches. But here's the twist. Nelson is deeply integrated with both of them. He's tied with Kyle Sandler's Federal Prison Tips LLC and 700 ReEntry nonprofit, and even produces Jason Votrobek's podcast. All the while, Nelson's cooperation was in plain view and they turned a blind eye. So when you hear Nelson downplay his role or act like he didn't give anybody up, remember, the government cut his sentence by more than half because of his help. In fact, Nelson might actually make a great prison consultant. He actually knows the exact blueprint for getting a reduced sentence because he lived it. Let's roll the tape.
The official charge I was given was conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud. I didn't steal from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Now I stole from the American taxpayer.
Right.
Now I'm on the hook for that money with the federal government. One of the FBI agents starts telling my aunt, look, this is my card. If you want any information, we're taking them. They arrest me and they take me all the way to the FBI headquarters in Miramar, Florida, which is like 30 to 40 minutes north of Miami. They start bringing in other people that got arrested. And I was like,
you start recognizing people?
Yep. Instantly. It was all the people I dealt with during the whole fucking clinic scam. And I was like, bro, these guys, they're bringing in the owners and some of the other recruiters.
What about the main guy?
He was already in prison. He ratted everybody out.
How much time did he get, though?
The FBI told me at some point they were going to give him 14 years. And he cooperated so much and gave so much information that he only ended up doing 2. So I'm there, and the whole time I'm sitting in the jail cell, and I'm like, my life is fucking over. I am fucked. Goodbye plans, you know, bye-bye. All those plans I had. I'm terrified at this point. I'm just like, what the fuck is going to happen? Here we go. I'm going to be in a fucking bunch of prison in a fucking, with like, you know, a prison with a bunch of like thugs and fucking people I don't want to be around. I'm having all these thoughts in my head. I was supposed to be the one guy in the family who's never supposed to go to jail, never supposed to get in trouble. I get out on a promissory note bond. And then I go see a lawyer and he's like, bro, you know, this is it. They showed me the discovery. It's not really all that good. But, you know, my lawyer edged me on the whole time. Like, oh, you might not go to prison. You're going to get convicted for sure, but you might not go to prison. You might not. And unless you're like, I don't know, some politician who can rat out like a president of a country, you're going to prison. Unless you cooperate and get some time off. But even then, even if you cooperate and get time off, you're still going to prison.
Nelson cooperated. Court records prove he debriefed with agents on day one of his arrest, identified as co-defendants Roberto Barbone, Alberto Martinez, and Dr. Castillo, even pointed out others like Abel Avila, leading to at least 4 guilty pleas and another indictment. Thanks to that, his sentence was cut just to 8 months.
So the guy just tells me, there's a good possibility you won't go to prison. You're definitely getting convicted, but you might get like house arrest or probation. I was out on bond for 1.5 years while they were like doing whatever the fuck they wanted to do and putting some of the people supposed to be someone that co-defendants wanted to go to trial, and they were like figuring all that shit out. So I pled guilty right away, and then I didn't get sentenced until, when did I get sentenced? So I get arrested July of 2021, and I get sentenced in October of 2022. So I was out on bond that whole time. You know, even though I have no clue how much time I'm going to get at that point or anything. Finally, I get sentenced, and I get sentenced to 8 months in federal prison. So what happens is they let me self-surrender. So I picked January. Mind you, January 9th is my sister's birthday, which was yesterday. Happy birthday, Janice. On January 9th, she has to drop off her baby brother at prison with my niece, my nephew, my mom, and my sister. They dropped me off at Coleman, at the Coleman camp. I look over, Jose Batista. Jose Batista was my coworker at the insurance company.
Okay.
He also caught a separate case from me, but for the same shit. Same exact thing. Got ratted on, everything. It was weird. Like, we even got, like, more or less the same amount of time. End up getting out in 5 months.
So you didn't do 8 months, you did 5 months.
I ended up doing 5 because CARES Act. So I get let out, and here we are. Now I'm on Matt's show.
The original guy that you were working with and got out, have you ever seen him?
Never
since?
seen him
No?
again. I would rather never see him for the rest of my life for obvious reasons.